أنت يا سيد ومتأخر يا سيد.
Good morning and welcome to our daily show. I am Donja Ballita. Since we always share our issues concerning social subjects with you, today's issue we are going to share is about migrant workers in Lebanon. Migrant workers in Lebanon mostly come from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Philippines, Nepal and Ethiopia, among many other Asian and African countries. They are called workers, but are not really treated like normal workers, and the sponsorship system for foreign workers is rather like a modern-day slavery. If they are women, they are mainly employed as domestic workers. If males, they join the ranks of the city's sanitation workers. Female migrant workers number more than 200,000 in the country, according to Women Electronic News Organization. And over the years, many who face abuse have committed suicide. Human Rights Watch estimates that an average of one migrant domestic worker dies in Lebanon every week, mostly from suicide or while attempting to escape abusive employers. Reformers say that they want workers to have the protection of the country's labor law, which means they would earn the right to receive their salaries, to have a day off, to have a maximum number of work hours, to have the right to leave the home and not to be locked in, to be able to hold in their passport and to quit their jobs whenever they want to. But unfortunately, none of these rights currently exist for the country's migrant workers. Today, Mr. Ali Slim, who's a sociologist, is going to join us. Hello, Mr. Ali Slim, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Ali Slim, what do you think, first of all, is the main reason that Lebanon has so many migrant workers?
Actually, to begin with, we have a lot of domestic migrant workers in Lebanon, mainly from, as you mentioned in your report, in your introduction, most of them come from Far East, especially from Sri Lanka, Nepal, Indonesia, as well as some of them from Pakistan and India. Can you please repeat the question?
So why do we have so many migrant workers, and is it increasing or decreasing?
Yes, because
really?
because you know the Lebanese society is some or in a way or another booming and facing a lot of development, social development, so that women in Lebanon not becoming workers, employees, boss, and taking some managerial posts, so that in order to help those Lebanese women, they get
Yes,
some
and
domestic
you're
workers.
emphasizing women, but isn't it also related to men as workers as well?
Of course. When we mention domestic male workers or male workers in a way or another, most of them came from Syria or Egypt. Most of them are originally from the Arab states. However, when we mention about domestic migrant workers, all domestic migrant workers are females in this sense.
Okay, and is it increasing or rather decreasing, or is it stable since several years ago? So, do you have any statistics concerning this subject?
Yes. Actually, recent statistics show that the number of domestic migrant workers in Lebanon is increasing in a huge way because, as I said, Lebanon is not a patriarchal society, became more open-minded. the society in itself became more open, more faced to the Western society, so that Lebanese women, as I mentioned before, started to work and to dig into the Lebanese society, so that the number of nannies, saying nannies or domestic migrant workers, is increasing
so
in this
it's increasing.
Yes.
I see. Now, I want to know, why are they treated that badly? I mean, not only the women, I mean migrant workers as a whole. What is the reason they are treated that badly and not as normal citizens? What is the main reason?
Because, you know, it's about the culture. It's about culture. It's about the Arabic culture in a way or another, because we treat domestic workers as slaves and not as a human beings.
So it's not because of their nationality, it's because they came to work?
Exactly, because they come to work in our houses, in our homes, so that they are discriminated against, they face a lot of oppressions. They don't have a day off. They are allowed to work. They are obliged to work 24 hours, 7 days. They don't even, as you mentioned before, they don't get a day off. Their passports are held in.
Exactly.
They are slaves in a way or another. They are slaves.
And I also said they are being abused, so it's not
exactly,
only that
not only abused, tortured.
Yeah. So who is responsible for that? I mean, if the citizens are acting like that, who should be responsible of that treatment? Who should fight for them? Who should be punished for that? If citizens are free to do whatever they want according to the migrant
as I said,
workers.
society is responsible, women are responsible, the family in itself is responsible, and the government, or the absence of law.
The absence of
exactly
law.
Because we don't have a certain laws or certain rules and regulation that force parents or families who hold those migrant workers, or who force those migrant workers
to treat them in a good way.
Exactly, to treat them in a good way. We don't have a hotline, so that I'm recommending some issues to help domestic migrant workers. We don't have a hotline, so that migrant workers can call the hotline at any time, especially at night, because all the abuses happen at night and not in the morning.
So all abuses happen mainly at night, you said?
Yes, so that the absence of rules and regulations, in addition to the absence of this culture of treating the other as human beings, all of them contributed in such treatment, such abusive treatment.
I see. Now, another question is, since we already said that we have many migrant workers, isn't it actually a benefit for the country? Because we know that they earn less, they get lower salaries than any other Lebanese worker.
Yes.
So aren't they benefiting Lebanon in a way or another? Because,
you know, I don't think so. Because of most domestic migrant workers, as I said, they don't have a day off, so that all the money they acquire, they send them back to their own countries, to their nations, to their families, or to their parents. So that most of money they don't go in order to benefit from them in the economic, internal or local economic. So that most of the money go back to their family, to their
homeland,
children.
you mean?
Exactly, to their homeland.
But what I mean is the salaries, they get lower salaries. I mean, if they do not employ migrant workers and they employ Lebanese workers instead.
I see. You know, because most of domestic migrant workers work in home. So that they don't benefit the Lebanese economic system.
Okay, I see.
When it comes to the Lebanese economic system, you can see some domestic migrant workers who work in companies such as saying Nissan or any other Lebanese companies. So that they get housemaids or domestic migrant workers in addition or instead of Lebanese workers.
Okay, now let's say all these migrant workers, now they came mainly because of war, etc. The main reason is war in their homeland. Let's say they want to return back to their homeland. Would it affect Lebanon's economical status in a way or another? Because you said they are working mainly in their homes, so it would actually not...
It wouldn't affect the Lebanese economic system, but actually I want to emphasize
because
something.
there are many, you see, there are many migrant workers. If all these
most
workers
of them came to Lebanon not because of war, but because of they are poor. They don't have enough money to feed their parents, to feed their children, so that they came to Lebanon. As I said before, they won't benefit the economic system. However, if they leave their countries, Lebanese women are obliged to get Lebanese workers, Lebanese females workers, so that this is a huge boosting for the Lebanese economy. This would be a huge boosting for the Lebanese economy. If the domestic migrant workers, the foreigners, leave the countries, Lebanese women, Lebanese workers would take place. You know?
So you think also the main reason they came here is to find a host rather than to work here? To
Not
find
only
a place
to find a host,
to
to get money and to feed their parents, to feed their children, to feed their families.
Okay. Now we know that recently they were doing like demonstrations to fight their rights, but their voice wasn't be heard. So they were like kind of ignored. So what do you think? Who could fight for their rights if they cannot do it by their own?
Exactly.
Could the government help on that, or the citizens themselves?
Actually, government and local authorities don't help at all. What is helping in this issue, actually, the Lebanese non-governmental organizations, saying in this sense, anti-racism movement, we have an anti-racism movement, NGO in Lebanon, or Nasawiya in Lebanon, both of them speak out for those who have no voices, especially for domestic migrant workers. They planned and they ran for many demonstrations, many sit-ins. They tried to force the Lebanese government to issue a law, the Lebanese parliament to issue a law helping or not helping, contributing not to abuse against against domestic foreign workers in Lebanon. But unfortunately, they didn't raise any concern.
So they did not
Because of the Lebanese internal issues, the Lebanese corruption, the Lebanese sectarian system, both of them didn't contribute to any help.
But if it's still now not being implemented, as you said, now concerning the future, are there any plans to build laws against the abuse of these migrants?
I don't see hope, actually, because you cannot implement laws, you cannot force the Lebanese government to implement laws, to issue laws, if the Lebanese mentality didn't change.
So there are also no plans neither concerning the...
There is no plan, for the time being, there is no plans for the government to issue laws. However, what I'm speaking of right now is we have to raise awareness. We have to start by the society in itself, by the local community we have. We should more contribute in raising the issue of those domestic migrant workers are human beings at the end.
Let's say if you're saying that there are no plans, so it might actually continue like that. Let's say if these migrants, they build families, they have kids, will their children be also affected in a way? Because if they are known that they are kids of migrants in Lebanon, will they be also treated badly, their kids?
Actually, I'm not suggesting that there is no plans in the future. They would be planned in the future. What I'm saying is that step one, we don't have to work for plans, plans by itself. What we have to work on is to change the Lebanese mentality. Now, to answer your questions, actually, I don't have any data or any statistics or any speculation about the future if those women will get married or have children. But I can assure you that the discrimination would definitely spill over into the children, because the parents face discrimination from Lebanese citizens. It's very ordinary, very normal that their children
they will be affected
exactly would be affected by such discrimination, by such oppression.
So we hope for them that they will get help as soon as possible. And thank you, Mr. Ali, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Now this was all for today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned till next week. Bye-bye.